All right, we are underway here. So, welcome you guys to Exploring Telepathy for March 28th, 2026. Almost April. I'm Kevin Young, your intuitive coach and admin for the Autism Telepathy Conversations community. I think I know pretty much all you guys here on this call, but for those who are listening in later, and I've discovered that more and more people are actually listening to the recordings after the fact. They either can't make the time or whatever, they're not comfortable being on camera or in the group, and so it's always perfect. So I love that word is getting out secondarily, secondhand to the work that we're doing here, the chats that we're having, the fun, the experiments with telepathy and communication. I just feel like that. I'm sure you guys all feel the same, that there are these waves now, really, of awareness hitting the planet, with so much of the dark stuff coming up, all the things that are happening on the surface level, conflict and exposure of to negative stuff and all that. That the other side is the positive energy that wants to be uh, realized and brought forth, clean that all out for people to come into a harmony. So I think people are really reaching for a better way. Their leaders are not doing the job, and so it's time to become our own leaders. I mean, you guys all know this, and so we're that people like in this group, we're the ones who are really diving into our own internal conflicts and releasing that, so that we can become more the beings of love and light and guidance that we truly are, uh, and so that we can have better lives, and by extension then be the examples, be the energy fields that encourage others to find their own center and their own guidance and let go of their fears and their traumas and so forth. And everyone's got a different way of doing it. I've been through lots of different kinds of sessions over the years since I've been doing this work, and you find what works for you, and then push gently but firmly through the fear, and then it dissipates, and then you're at a new level. Rinse, repeat, never ends. But it gets easier and more fun each time we do it. So we're just here to have fun. We'll explore telepathy and all its manifestations, includes communication with each other, not physically, communication with a broader consciousness, the spiritual realm, people of the past, and nature. It's all at that broader level where we all exist simultaneously in the non-physical as the sort of the ocean of all consciousness. And then down here in kind of condensed, focused physical beings, our journey is to get back to opening up that connection and be the blended beings that we truly are, physical and non-physical at the same time. Trusting the flow, the guidance from the non-physical portion of us, and expressing it in the physical, so that we can enjoy both sides of things. And I gotta say, every pain or discomfort or negative thing that happens in my life, when I use that simple principle that there's something on the other side, it doesn't last very long, or I attract the help to get me through it. And then suddenly I'm at another level of awareness and calm and perspective. You get another step higher on the mountain, so to speak, so you can see a little bit more, and you see that nothing's going wrong here. Everything is on track. Everyone's having experience that their souls designed for them before they came into the bodies, to have the experiences they want, to have the growth, to have the expansion, to become the deeper, more connected beings, and thus connect back to all that is. So all we'd be doing today is an intro meditation. Looks like Melissa couldn't make it. Melissa Corian usually does the guided meditations, but I think she's in transition from Las Vegas, where her husband had a conference or something. I think she may actually be in the air right now or soon to be. So I'll probably lead the meditation. And then we'll chat about that and what came up and whatever else you guys want to talk about in terms of telepathy and connection and so forth. And then near the end, we'll do another meditation and actually do some practice. See if we can connect with each other, or non-speaking individuals, or nature, or whatever is natural for you. So Scott, you want to ask a question or mention something before we do the meditation?
It something that you just said that I feel is where I'm supposed to drop it in and share it. You said something about the connecting and the situation being better, quicker, faster, being connected. And so I have to share. Hang on, I'm gonna click my unmute button. I was holding my space bar down, but it was slowing my computer down, it looked like.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, I had this happen this week. I'll make this won't be long. I had this happen this week where I now have a new term called my third ear, just like your third eye. My third ear has opened up this week, and I've not usually been clairaudient and hear things as much as I feel, see, sense, know, and all that is my normal means of clairs. Um, I've been experimenting with the hypnagogia, which, for those who don't know, I call it's the little twilight zone right when you're falling asleep or waking up. Trying to incorporate even that into meditation and learning what that feels like and getting there. So, anyway, I was waking up the other day, this past week, and literally heard a conversation going as I was laying there asleep with beings around me, and one was talking to the other. I'm gonna try and repeat it in the tone, but it's the sense and feeling that came with it that was more than anything. And it was like the voice of a mother or a grandmother talking to someone else and simply said, he knows what to do. And I woke up with that and just like the feeling of it too. And it gave me the confidence that in me, I already know what to do with whatever the situation was. And there was some situations that occurred over the coming days that I had that rang in my ear constantly. He knows what to do. And I knew that if I just sat in my intuition, I apparently intuitively knew what to do. And so it got me through the week. And so anyway, we do message there. It's in us. We do know what to do if we listen. That was
Yes, make the space for it. And so you were clearly doing that, and that's what they say in the waking, as we wake up or as we fall asleep, the noisy, interfering mind calms, and there is a gap potentially there where the mind isn't interfering with the guidance and it can just show through. That's what, as you say, the hypnagogic state.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm exploring that. I encourage everybody. I could spend the rest of this call telling you just this week the experiences I've had in that have been off the charts amazing.
Well, maybe you will share a few of them.
Okay.
So that's very interesting, and I do want to get right to the meditation. But yesterday I had a very similar experience. It's not the waking part, but just what you're saying is now. This is like I'm starting to see we're already getting a theme here, as it usually happens on these calls. That yesterday, and Suzanne, by the way, just so you know, she's on the call, but she had her second knee surgery Tuesday, where she's been in pain in the right knee since they replaced the knee a year ago, and they didn't do it right. Apparently, we found a second opinion. They went in there and said, "Yeah, there's a whole bunch of arthritis under the kneecap, which the guy didn't clean out." There, so, anyways, all this she's learned so much, and she'll share with it about that either on Facebook or writing or something when she's ready to. But so on Tuesday, they actually resurfaced the underside of the kneecap and put a pad in there so that it doesn't rub against the actual mechanical knee joint that's in there. And so she's recovering. So she's not in a place to come on screen and participate directly. But I just wanted to share that. So while she's recovering and, I'm doing stuff around the house, I had an experience where I wanted to put something in the garage, run a cable to get to a battery charger. And hadn't planned on doing it yesterday, but like you're saying, Scott, it was like I was just in this kind of nice, like, meh, it's beautiful out. I want to do something to clean the bird feeders. Yay. And but then as I stepped into this, well, let's just do this project. I'm just gonna put this cable up, put it into the ceiling and do some other stuff. And every step of the way, I had already had a plan in my mind how I was going to do it. I'm going to go this long, harder way and do this. And I was sitting there. It sounds like, boom, no, go that way. Oh, yeah, that's a lot easier. Oh, I didn't think that. So I start doing that. And then I get into an obstruction. And then I was saying, okay, well, I can just pop a nail here to hold this thing. And then before I knew, I had another nail, which I hadn't planned. And so then when I did that, it actually allowed it to go over this other thing that was in the way. And it was just that the whole thing unfolded without me even thinking about it. And so it was very similar in the sense that it's always about getting out of the planning, noisy mind and just sitting there in presence. And this 2026 is my year of getting into presence, now moment, not thinking about what I'm going to do next and just following the guidance. And yet, so yesterday it was just worked out perfectly. I cleaned part of the garage out and I did a whole bunch of other things that I hadn't planned just because I was feeling so good. So as you're saying, Scott, in this case, you woke up and you were in that open state, and now for all of us, really, it's perpetuating that state. So it's just stay in
So
this gentle now moment.
yeah, what you've done, I'm actually today I'm planning on getting an episode up on the meditation channel of ways to meditate. Because there's a bunch of different ways, but one of them, believe it or not, walking meditations, um, or even washing the dishes meditation, any like you were doing work, but you let it pull yourself out of your left brain and mind. And that is literally a way to, if you get outside of your head, you open up the channel. That's the channel is what the left brain logic is what's blocking. It's the door that's closing
Yep.
the pathway. So you allowed yourself to go to a state that my sensei in martial arts said you need to get to the state of Mushin Notion, mind of no mind. When you reach mind of no mind
Oh, I
state,
love it.
you believe it or not, you don't go blank. You start filling yourself in with uh with the other stuff that you're trying to connect to. And that's what you did is you allowed your left brain to go to sleep
Yeah.
and then your right brain guided you. So
Yep.
anyway, it's
Well
definitely
stated.
a form of waking meditation. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And you and I both are engineers, and we have very logical, busy, loud, scientific engineering minds, which have served us. But this is so much better. Nice to have the contrast. All right. So let's just do a little meditation here. So nothing you need to do or say or think. This is just to chill and relax. I'll guide us into a little meditation. If you're, I always recommend having pen and paper or something to take notes in. If plus sometimes when you get downloads in this state, it doesn't go through the mind; it goes right to the it comes from that broader state, and so we'll tend to lose what we got, sort of like coming out of a dream. So that can be helpful if you want to write it down or share in the chat when we're done. But so we can just sit back and relax, get comfortable, settling into our chair or wherever we're at, making our adjustments so that we feel completely comfortable and at rest. And as we close our eyes, we just take a nice deep breath in, hold it, and we exhale, breathing the air completely out of our lungs. In again. And as we exhale, we just begin gently releasing the thoughts and stepping out of time and into the now moment, becoming present. And as we keep relaxing, we surrender to that natural ebb and flow of the universal consciousness. It's supportive, it's all around us. Just like leaning back into a gentle river vibrational boat that's just carrying us downstream on a warm, sunny afternoon. Just feeling that warmth of source energy sun on our faces and our bodies. Imagining a pillow beneath our bodies, just relaxing into that. Just feeling carried so easily, so effortlessly. And as we relax and release, feel ourselves floating even more now. Just feel the sensation of lightness, lifting our consciousness out of our bodies, but always tethered to the physical in this lifetime. So there's nothing to be afraid of. We let go and float a little higher, feeling consciousness expand and evolve. Look around, notice how beautiful things are. Just as floating, more free, expanding, moving up, noticing the little clouds in the sky containing the thoughts that might we still be having in our brains and watching them float away. And if thoughts want to come back up, we just notice them, observe them, love them, and let them go. Just noticing them written on little thought balloons, drifting away. As we float even higher, expand even more, moving beyond any clouds that are still present up into the complete openness of pure source energy sunlight. And up at this level, we're now entering the frequency realm of the non physical. Begin to notice, begin to feel the support team that we have around us all the time. To become a little bit more in view, a little bit clearer. Feeling the love that they are all emanating, sending to us. So supported all the time. And as the human mind completely goes offline and our consciousness floods through, we feel the ocean of all consciousness, all the loving beings supporting us flooding in to our bodies. So warm inside. Feeling our heart expand like an energy wave, slow pulsing energy wave expanding out of the body, encompassing the room and then the house or building we're in. And then out into the streets, expanding this bubble out into the city, encompassing all beings in the city with this shower of love that we're receiving from Source, flooding through us and out. The bubble expands out into the state or province that we're in, and then out into the country, immersing all these beings with this beautiful love and light. Flowing through us, the stream gets even larger, wider, and deeper. Feels so good going through us and expanding outwards. Encompassing the entire planet now in this bubble of pure love and light. Flowing from source through us and out, now expanding out into the solar system, encompassing the planets, the sun, out beyond the solar system into the galaxy itself, where the central sun at the core lives, encompassing all beings of the entire galaxy. And then beyond to multiple galaxies, expanding out to the edges of the universe and beyond to all universes. And now we are merged in as one with all that is. From this perspective, we can see all that is, we can feel all that is, receive all that is, the deepest love that we've ever experienced flowing through us. And we open up to connection with any other beings, any support team, others in the physical, the entire universe of consciousness, whatever feels natural, easy, fun, exciting, with no effort, no trying, Just observing, allowing, being. Feels so good. We'll immerse ourselves in this energy for another moment. And now it's time to float back down into the physical realm, at least for the rest of the meeting. Remain open, remaining open to our spiritual higher frequency selves while moving our attention down into the body. Remaining open, present, loving. And still entering presence here in the body and feeling the arms and legs and the fingers and toes. And as we come back into consciousness, whenever we're ready, we open our eyes. And there's no rush. And if you received anything, you experienced anything, now's the time to either write it down, put it in the chat, share it if you like. Give people a moment or two to come back online here. But the energy is really focused here today. looks like somebody was trying to join the call, but couldn't get through here. So for me, besides just enjoying this immense love and presence that you guys are helping bring through, which is really good. First, I got a connection from my mom. I haven't felt one from her for a while. She's been non-physical for 22 years now, I think. And she's always been the primary energy. And then a granddaughter, Olivia, came through. I felt the connection with her. She was with us all last weekend, and boy, did we connect. We had so much fun. Get so warm thinking about that. And then I felt the entire support team show up. Sometimes I can see imagery like kind of gray images, clouds, or you know outlines and so forth. I felt how many beings are here to support us, and then I opened up more, and I felt the expansion of all the beings who are looking for us. They're looking for our support. I go to this image often. You guys have seen me hold this up. It's just a rally of a couple million people that I keep by my desk. Just a reminder of who's waiting for us to show up in whatever form naturally uh, we would express ourselves in as our own beings to help humanity by enjoying who we are and expressing who we are. A big part of my journey this year is stepping into that and letting go of anything that's internally resisting expressing myself more. So I'm practicing that. But suddenly there was that vision showed up non-physically. So they are out there, they're waking up, and they're looking for us and those like us to step more into ourselves and then share ourselves however we want to share. So that was me. What did you guys experience? Anybody want to share? I see Masako says I saw a pillar of light and sparkles around it. Didn't want to come back. Yeah, that's the sign of a good meditation. When you don't want to come back. Good for you. Yeah, that's the secret. Enjoying the energy and taking the time to milk it. And I tell you, sometimes I think I should do meetings or workshops or something where we meditate for most of the meeting, just for the sake of practicing letting go and letting in whatever wants to align with us and support us. That might be something to do. So many things we can do. So who else? Anybody else want to share what they saw, what they received, what they felt? And even if you didn't receive anything and just had a wonderful meditation, it's good to share that too, because that's just as valid as anything else that we do. Making that quiet space is so important. No, it's just me. I was the only one who had anything.
Well, I'll share.
All right.
Um, my connection with trees has been pretty big this past little more than a year anyway. And so I have the first tree that I telepathically connected with that introduced me visually, um, uh, whatever Claire that is, literally dropped a picture in my head of of another tree to go find, and I knew the area where this tree was, and then I went and found it. And it's a special tree. I don't know if I've shared this or not, but anyway, the tree has a hmm, um I don't know what part of like it may have been another tree that was with it. It might have been two trees. I don't know. Anyway, it has a place where you can sit in the tree and get a hug while you meditate at it. So it's a very special tree, and so I like going to that tree because it's also next to a cascading stream. So you have the sound and the tree and the energy and all that. But anyway, point being, what I went through was I went on this tree tour of all the beautiful trees that have been in my life, was taking me in my mind, it was taking me there, but then of course taking me to nature. Um, I ended up at a waterfall, which is my favorite place to meditate. And there's this park that I had gone to that I found either five or six. I was going to go back and look at my notes, but five waterfalls within like a couple mile area. And so I then was taken on a tour of all those waterfalls and the waterways, and it just brought me deeper and deeper into this really beautiful feeling but it ended, and then I went to another place where there's four waterfalls that I like to hike at. Hadn't been there in a long time, but I ended, and I'm gonna start crying. I ended at the tree that saved my life. I almost got killed in one of the parks because I got caught in a freak, uh, 5 inches of rain in 3 hours. The week after the blizzard of 93, where the ground was super saturated. So when that rain hit, it couldn't go anywhere. And I was trapped in the park. They were literally helicopter rescuing people out of the park next to it. They didn't come and get me. I had to save myself. And so I had to swim out of streams that were chest high and at freezing because this was in the mountains. But this one tree gave its life for me. I made two walking sticks so that I had 4 points of contact to go through this raging water. And I still have that. It's actually in, I carry it with me in my Jeep everywhere I go, but I ended at that tree. I don't know why, but connecting back to that,
Meant to be. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. You can feel the connection that you had.
the rest of my life. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. What a great feeling to feel so supported. Sometimes I think we need those experiences to kind of to accentuate where, because I've felt alone most of my life, upbringing, blah blah blah. And I always had to do stuff myself, and there have been those moments where I had to be reminded, no, you're not alone. There's support, and when we let it in, there is support. So I totally get that, Scott. I love that. I think that's a big thing that's changing for me now is that opening up to the nature that is around us all the time and there to provide that energetic support. Just like the spiritual realm, the nature realm is also bringing through that same energy. And we got a beautiful backyard, but I don't go out there. I look out there a lot. Suzanne and I watch the birds or whatever. But it's like, why don't I just walk through the door and wander around? We got trees back there. You know, just doing it. So sometimes it's like I probably get kicked in the butt at some point like that to get me out there as a reminder of the support. Thanks for sharing that, Scott. Your stories are always profound and poignant. I really appreciate you. Pete, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to touch on what you just said because it's really really important. Um, I can't remember exactly what you said. You said something about you kind of differentiated a little bit. You imply that there's a difference or a separation between spirit and nature, and
Just perspective
they
difference.
they're the same. And I can only encourage you to really I have the same. I mean, I'm a landscape architect, so I do habitat restoration. So my front and backyard is all native plants and that sort of stuff. Uh, and I can lose myself all day
Hmm.
getting like right up close, like literally millimeters away from all the bees and all the insects out there. And it's like Scott was saying, different kinds of meditation, walking meditation, just immersing oneself in nature and just dissipating it's beyond spiritual. I mean, it's the best spiritual I think anyone can get. So get out there and just be in it, be of it. Um, Find a place where, and I suggest this to everyone I know. It's so hard because most people like they get terrified of, ooh, bugs and all this kind of stuff, and people are freaked out. Oh my God, aren't they going to bite you? No, I've been in amongst my bees and wasps and spiders for decades, and I have never got bitten. They literally land on me and they know, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of the disasters of modern life is that, the separation of us from nature when we are nature. There is no separation to us and everything.
And it
It's
isn't nice to find our way back. Isn't there such a joy in the
yeah.
revelation of what we haven't been allowing in?
Well, it's a tough one because a lot of people they just have never known it. They are raised or taught to have some separation of fear. So, I mean, in a larger spiritual sense, there's a finding oneself getting back there, but that's a massive leap for
I
many.
tend to believe that that's the point of being here in a separated physical experience is because the journey back is so much more delicious than if we were to stay non-physical. So I was one who was deathly afraid of bees and spiders myself for most of my life because again I was living in fear anyway. So you're going to attract what you feel, the energy you put out. But
One of
in
my
more
earliest, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, in more recent years, and we used to we'd get bees in the house, and we had an extermination service, and there were all these, the fear was running, and it does until it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Again, we came in for that, but now, like as I've been more and more, as you're saying, Pete, you have naturally been connected. I was not. I'm finding my way back, but as I found my way back over the years, uh, all that has gone away. We don't have bugs in the house, or if they're little spiders, I always leave them. And there's because they're taking care of business, right? They're taking care of the fruit flies or whatever, and I now have the same like you, where I can have a bee. Sometimes we'll be on a walk and one will just land. He'll just right here as we're walking along, and I know that I'm getting a message, and so I'll take the moment and just get out of my head and just breathe into that beautiful connective moment. So I'm learning what you already know. And every step that I take in that direction of surrendering and then engaging the beauty just takes me closer to that connection. So I'm glad that you have that. And I am intended to be more like that. I really appreciate you sharing that.
I
So,
think we need to remember that, like 99.99% of the time, insects and animals, they're just curious.
yeah, they don't
That
have an
that
agenda. They're not
they're
humans.
just curious. Like you, well, they are like you and I are curious.
Yeah.
Everything's curious. You see something a little different and new as the smell or the sight, sound, everything's curious. Let's go see what it is. And they come closer or they move away. It's um I mean
But they don't have the
my
fear that we do. That seems to be the big difference between nature and the human. The human has that part of the brain, like Scott was saying earlier. At least my experience is that it blocks most of that natural curiosity because there's fear associated with it. There's a
they don't have a
consequence.
visceral fear, but they do have an
Yeah,
extreme caution.
yeah,
Uh
survival, of course.
and they
But
should around humans.
well, maybe so. That's why they're still alive, I guess. They're naturally guided towards what works for them and around
Oh,
what doesn't. And that's actually an interesting thing because sometimes when people first get into this, we all know this, but the new people to the idea of being opening up to guidance, and like Scott, you were guided to the trees, without thinking about it, is that the energy you'll never be guided from a broader sense to something that isn't good for you, that isn't something that you desire, that will light you up. People say, well, they're protecting me from the bad things. No, spirit doesn't protect you from bad things. It simply guides you towards the things that you want and around the things that you don't want. So it's always moving forward. Like the spiritual side is always moving forward towards what we want. It's only the human that needs the protection, which is okay if you need that in the moment, that concept. But in general, you want to let go of the need for any kind of fighting against and step into the now moment. And nature is so good with that. I love what you share, Pete. You're always so present, particularly around nature and the beauty around us. Thank you for sharing that. Scott, go right ahead.
Okay, so again, another thing that I wanted to figure out if I was supposed to drop this in here, and Pete, you just opened it up. Last night, good luck me getting through this without crying. Last night, I'm meditating with a deer who was hit by a car and probably transitioned last night or will be very soon anyway. But I was with the deer, just there, solidarity, support, comfort. And I got close enough that I started connecting to the deer, and telepathically, in other words, and sensing, seeing, feeling everything the deer was going through. What was interesting was it was happy. Um, what was interesting was we go through a life review at the end of our life only because we have karmic consequences and things we have to go through and learn. But animals, to my knowledge, I don't think they're not here for a karmic purpose. So I don't think they do that. And what I was watching and feeling and being a part of was this deer reliving parts of its experience. And I was just seeing, and it was the simplest of things. It was, being at a stream, walking through a field, just existence. But the amazing part, Pete, that feeling when you go outside and the feeling you get being in nature, that's what the deer was emanating. That's what we're picking up on when we go out in nature. Literally, the animals, the grass, the trees, everything is just radiating that energy, and we're picking it up. And I got to feel it firsthand. Out of this deer was transmitting it. It wasn't transmitting. It was just that was the existence of that animal. And
A
anyway,
beautiful rendezvous.
stop making me cry.
Well, your release helps us all be okay with release, Scott. So I want to thank you and acknowledge you for being vulnerable. That's what the purpose of the group is to create the safe space for us all to share a little deeper. I think that is such a profound point. The human gets stuck in the sadness of supposed death, the ending of things. And nature is constantly reminding us that there's no end. Like, I enjoyed my life. Here's how I'll be back, and then I'll show you again. And then I'll show you again until the human, lets go of all these fears you're carrying and just gets into that moment. Enjoy the simple things. God, that's there. I can't think of a more perfect experience to have to connect in and know that it's all okay. Everything's okay. Everything is okay. It's going to be okay. Always was okay. It'll never be anything other than okay. Just chill out, guys. Ugh, wow. It's funny. I was thinking, and I'll go to Marlene here in a sec. I was just thinking I think it was last year, we had a pigeon crash into our back window. We have a sliding glass door to the outside, and we've got lots of birds. Every once in a while, one will bounce against the glass and fly off. It's always in perfect synchronicity, but every once in a while, maybe once a year, we'll have one that hits so hard that that's it. You know, down on the ground, they're gone. And I had that sort of connective moment because I've never been much around death per se, and I had that pigeon as I picked him up, and it sat there, and I felt that sort of connection, as you're saying. It was something I had never experienced before that moment, and I felt into that, and it wasn't nearly as profound as yours was, Scott, but it was that, like, it's okay, I'll be back. Nothing went wrong here, and I'm a teacher too. I'm here as a pigeon to teach you to just be okay with this part of the transition. I chose my reality, as every conscious being does, and I had a great experience, and I'll be back to do it again. And so it's okay. And I have had awarenesses around the birds and wanting to protect them from slamming into our glass. And a couple of things. One is we have put decals up several times over the years. They don't do a thing. And what I realized is that in the last year, as Suzanne and I both have gone through lots of transition, emotionally speaking, with our various things that we're going through, we almost never have bird strikes now. Nothing else has changed outside. We still have the feeders. Everything is in the same place, but it's like almost never. And it's like it's like the having bees in the house and other things. As soon as you get at peace with it, the message has been delivered. You don't need the message anymore. And the birds can go on and do something else. They don't need to be slamming into the glass anymore because it's all okay. It's the way it's supposed to be. And anyways, that's just what's coming through me. Marlene, what would you like to share?
Guys.
Hi.
So first, I want to thank you, Kevin, for opening up the space and for making the meditation. That was really great. I felt at like towards the end how warm my hands got suddenly. That was really like, oh, my hands are really warm. What I also felt was at the end how quick my mind was like, yeah, this feeling is amazing, and then ideas like what you could do with that feeling and how to engage people with it and da 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 da. And I just had that experience already this week where I was in a state where I could see the many streams or strands of thoughts that were going on, like, and how my mind was jumping from one to another, and suddenly there was this clear moment where I could see it from a little bit of distance, and then, oh wow, and it was like my head went out of it, out of that stream of whatever, and it was just quiet, and then I remembered that at the end of the meditation, it's like, oh, again, I have to do something with it. No, there's nothing to do with that feeling. It's just be it, live it, just that. Yeah. So that was amazing. And also I'm here to, because I lived in a situation, or I lived a situation where I went down again into some dark spaces with myself, and and came out of it, and I'm like, okay, where is the tribe, or where is the place I feel good? I feel like, oh, they speak the same language, or almost the same language. I mean, little differences, they're always there, but the feeling of, oh yeah, uh-huh, yeah, I know what you, I feel I know what you're talking about, and I can share what I see in that. And so yeah.
Oh, wow. And so, how you were guided here? What brought you here, Marlene?
Oh, so I'm connected on Facebook with you for years,
Yeah.
and I haven't been on Facebook really a lot, because it started to change. Also, my feed is really messed up, so I I don't get stuff I had in the past, like from you, but I'm in one of your groups, or in your group, and so somehow this came up, and then I was like, oh yeah, yeah.
That's a feature, not a bug, by the way.
Uh, yeah, yeah, but it's like I don't have like experience with telepathy, other than, which I maybe can't say that way because I have, but a lot through my art. I start something, and then sometimes years later I realize what it tells me. Sometimes really quickly. Sometimes it can be like 3 days later. I realized someone transitioned, or different various things.
Mhm.
Really, just I one day I was painting really out of the blue. I was painting a golden, I don't know what, with green. It looked like little green. How do you say that? Lost the word. Cloud. And then I was like, I received a poem, which also happens a lot. Like that's also a way that communicates with me. And it was, or a little text. It was like, they told me the skies are blue, but I don't think that's true anymore. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And 3 days later, our skies here literally looked like the picture I did, because the Sahara sand was so thick that it looked like this goldish color. I was looking at the sky, what is that? And then I went out and took a picture and I looked at it. Wow, this is amazing. And it took me like two hours to realize, oh, that's actually the same like what I painted like 3 days earlier. So
So,
yeah.
so that's from our perspective. Well, at least what I've learned in this process is that uh, it's all telepathy is just sort of like a one radio station on the whole radio. It's
Mm,
just the way of doing exactly what you're talking about, but more specifically with an individual
mm,
or a group of individuals on that frequency. It's channeling,
yeah.
and it's the same thing that Scott was mentioning. The way I see it, in that it's just getting the human brain out of the way and
Mm,
trusting the flow in the now moment is always going to work out for us. And everything is energy in motion, of course. And there's energy momentum, things that have been thought about, things that are going to happen that haven't shown up in the physical. And people like you have the ability, when you get into that now moment, to participate in or pick up that flow of energy before it physically manifests. That's what a
mm,
psychic does. A good psychic does that. That's how
mm,
they can predict the future. Nobody can predict the absolute future because we're changing it, but there's momentum. So you have this beautiful ability to pick up the momentum in play energetically, and you translate it into the physical
mm,
painting or whatever. So it's not surprising to me from that perspective that you saw something coming before
mm,
it physically manifests, and then you were open enough to receive the rendezvousing impulse to see it in the physical,
mm.
in the moment that it physically manifested.
Yeah.
Again, what a great place to be, and great reflection to know how connected you really are.
Mm.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
think for me it's really about also practicing, not the, oh yeah, I know. More like really that state that I experienced earlier this week, just this distance and this clarity in that moment, and realizing, wow, there is a stream of thought or whatever you want to call it, and we can go with our hands into it and scoop out the stuff and make something ourselves, and more and get these creations around us, and suddenly we have anxiety and don't know why. And we can just leave that and let the thought that needs to come, like, and I think that's the state I want to more, like, I want to experience more. Mm,
it.
yeah.
Sounds like you are experiencing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, and I think I could feel your energy as you do that. When you get that stream of ideas you were talking about, once you get the feeling, because I'm like you, it's like I often, like, when take the time to open up, then I get floods of ideas,
mm,
and which I think is that part's actually the way it's supposed to work. We're opening up to the source, which has been trying to send us guidance towards the things that we would love to do.
mm.
But maybe like you as well, I also have this logical mind, which is very busy, and it wants to
Yeah.
take everything and turn it into a project.
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
And so that's been a big part of this last whole year of the idea of the project idea, letting go of that, because the project's always in the future. And as soon as I can move into the future, I'm out of the now moment, and I've lost the guidance that will take me to the next best step to do something with that idea. And so it sounds like you're finding a kind of a similar place where the practice is, yeah, get excited about it, but don't just grab it and then run off with it. Just take the next exciting step and detach from something beyond that, and then wait for the next inspired impulse.
Mm,
That's taken a lot of practice for me, because my brain just,
mm,
as soon as I get into that project mode, oh, this would be a great XYZ to do. And then, like, oh, I can't make it happen. It starts to slow down. It gets dense. It's like, oh, it's because you're back in your head again.
yeah.
Go out in nature.
Yeah.
You're a very
Yeah.
creative person, from what I recall on our, yeah, and Facebook. You've got a ton of creativity. So I just only see it getting better. Looks like people are showing up here.
Hmm.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Darn it. I'm going to make myself a note here. There's still people don't realize that we had a time shift here in the US. And I didn't mention it in the reminder.
I totally forgot. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Annalie. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, didn't put it in the reminder.
Oh, I should know by now.
Well,
Like tonight, we're gonna change our time back to to summertime. So next time I will probably remember and come in an hour early.
yeah, it's too bad. Well, there's always the recording, as they say.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Maybe this is exactly when you need to be here. Yeah,
Probably.
we're having fun just talking about stuff. So we just actually just came off the first meditation, so we're still on that. So and then actually yes, geez, it's already top of the hour. Yeah, I see people are starting to pour in. Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, I learned something today to be more more attentive to the time, because the thing is we have people from all over the world coming into our groups these days, and which I love so much, because when we started, Suzanne and I started doing these, we did workshops and stuff starting in 2008 or so, or 2009, I think. It was all local. You know, it wasn't until COVID hit really in 2020 that we were kind of forced to go online. Then suddenly, you know, you're open up to the whole world. And it's like, how cool is that? But then you got to remember the whole world is not just like you. Everybody's different time zones, you know, different perspectives. And so I've learned a ton here. So Scott, why don't you go ahead and then
I'll make it quick. This is just to follow up from Marlene. Um, to follow up with what you were saying, Kevin, is that Marlene, you are actually far more intuitive than you even think. I think you're holding yourself back by thinking you're not as intuitive as you are. What I wanted to encourage you to do is that once you start paying attention and notice and hearing the faint whispers of the akasha around you, that's there, like you said, to scoop out of and grab from, the more you notice it, the more you're going to notice it. And so I'd encourage you to do that, listen. And so, real quick example of what happened again in that Twilight Zone state I was in the other day. I heard a voice say 13. And then two more times, two other voices said 13. And then someone said, it'll make sense. The next day at work where I'm doing this project, and we had to determine the time in 10-minute segments. And so we were calculating out and we got to 12. I'm like, and then actually the answer was 13. There's 13 10-minute sections. So it was a glimpse into a possible future that they allowed me to see. And that's all out there. All possible futures are out there floating around. The one that's going to happen is the one based on the most amount of free will choices that make it happen, but all possibilities are out there. So anyway, I just wanted to congratulate you, Marlene, on tapping into it. It's there all the time, and learning to quiet the mind like you talked about. The more you notice it, the more you're going to notice it. So it's all.
Yeah, thank you. I think I know that I have the ability. It's more like how to navigate it, because the faint thing is not really faint. I tell you, it's really loud, but it doesn't make sense right now. It's just whistling and stop. So it's more like really navigating it and starting to, yeah.
It's all perfect. It's all perfect. We say wherever you are is where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
Can't get it wrong. You. It's never done. Amen. All right, boys and girls. And to the guys who just joined, my apologies for not mentioning that we had time shifted a week ago here in the US. So you're coming in an hour late. I had meant to do that and it slipped my mind. I think Britain is moving to British summertime pretty soon. And yeah. So, and Annalise just said that her time in Sweden is going to shift soon. So it's just part of being in a part of the world culture here. And by the way, I don't know if, for those of you who And if you all look at the Facebook event that gets posted in the Autism Telepathy group, if you don't, if you're just using the same Zoom, if you go back to the event every time, every 2 weeks, and just look at it, it'll show the time of the meeting in your time zone, and it's in small letters underneath the title, but it'll always be accurate for you. So if you ever have a question about the time of the meeting for you, then it'll be on the Facebook event in that group. And I always will repost the event in the group. And if you're not, I don't, you guys are all members of the Autism Telepathy Conversations community, but if you're not, jump in. It's a free group, open to the public. And we've got, God, I don't know, 17,000 some members now, which is just still mind blowing to me that many people who are coming online. When I joined a year ago, it was 4,000 people. So it gives you an idea of this work that we're doing, how important it is, and how many people are looking for it. All right, enough about that. So let's do our second meditation. We'll do the telepathy practice meditation. This is just like the first one, except that this is an opportunity to be even more intentional about what you might want to open up to, who you might want to connect with if you have that somebody or something in your life you want to open up to, or not. Just enjoy the show, as it were. Nothing serious going on here. You can't get it wrong. Less intention, more enjoyment always yields the most fun results. So let's just sit back and relax, get comfy again in our chair or wherever we're at. Keep pen and paper handy if you plan to write down anything, or your phone or whatever you take notes. This is about relaxing and allowing no effort, no thinking. And sit back and relax. Take a nice deep breath in. And hold it, and then let it go. And again, all the way down to our belly button. And as we breathe out, we feel our whole body relax, head to toe. And one more time. As we breathe in source energy from the top, we breathe out any leftover negative energy out our lungs. Feel the energy move all the way down to our feet and down into the planet. Feeling this energy cycle coming in from our crown chakra, from source, breathing it into our lungs, breathing out the old energies. And as we do this slow, repeated cycle at our own pace, we feel the energy flowing down into our feet and down into the planet. Just feeling energetic roots growing out of our feet all the way down to the core of the planet. Feeling that connection open up. And each breath takes us a little deeper, a little more relaxed, a little more connected. As we just observe the energy flowing in through the body down to the planet, and then flowing back up through our legs, arms, head back up to source. And then on the next breath, back down through the body, down to the planet. So grounded. And then back up again to source. Feeling that current flowing through us each time we breathe in and then out. And as that beautiful current of loving source energy flows through us, we feel it entering every single cell in the body. Trillions of cells coming online, lighting up, relaxing, finding their connection with the other cells. Perfect harmony. And as the cells come online, connect, communicate, relax, the organs that they are Making up then come online and relax and find balance and communication with each other. And the systems come online more perfectly balanced, perfect state of flow. The whole body now is just humming and resonating with perfect, perfect harmony. Feeling energy flow, feeling the vibration grow. The whole body becomes this receiver and transmitter of source energy, vibrating energy, this lighthouse of love, transmitting and receiving, transmitting and receiving. Perfect ebb and flow. And as we allow ourselves to go even deeper and open up even more deeply, we feel new levels of connection. We feel our heart expand more than it ever has as we allow and allow and allow more to flow through, almost to where we can't contain it. The love is so great. Our whole body come online, feeling the warmth in our hands, in our heart, in our arms and legs, in our chakra systems. So open and free. As my voice trails off for a few minutes, we just sit in this beautiful energy and allow whatever wants to come to us and through us and out of us to do so. Nothing to get done. Just enjoy the connection. So now it's time to come back into our bodies. No rush. If you want to stay connected for a little while longer, go right ahead. But whenever you're ready, bring your focus back into presence in the now moment, in the body. Feel yourselves opening up to everything that you received, feeling the appreciation for the connection, any messages. And if you want to write it down, now's the time to do it. Feel free to also share in the chat window if you'd like to. Always want to hear your experiences. Well, I gotta say, it's funny. I had a real awareness around the idea of the time zone shift. When I got into the meditation flowed easily to me, but I noticed that that energy was still with me. I didn't like I realized that I was not connected as much as I had wanted to be because that energy, that little tiny thing, it's not even my responsibility for other people's issues with time. And yet I took it on. It's just an old habit that I had another awareness around that I had latched onto and not let go of before I went to the meditation. So for me, that was actually as good as having a telepathic connection or any other message. It's an important message for me. So, Annalie, go ahead.
Good job. My responsibility to keep my time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Kevin, I want to thank you for bringing the cells into the conversation, into the meditation. I loved it. And well, I've been really, really connected to myself earlier on, and I had kind of forgotten those really, I don't know what to call them, amazing conversations. And I just came back into my body and could feel the cells coming alive immediately when you started to to bring them into the conversation, and that was amazing. That is such a good feeling, and that is such a great feeling of being alive.
And so that you're referring to that when we did the meditations for the treatments, the cells.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all that happened around that. And because then I was kind of in a constant conversation with myself. And this time I went even deeper or further, deeper, I guess you can say. You usually say like 50 trillion cells in the body, or what is it that you say?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And I mean, when I kind of visualize my cells in my body, I kind of visualize them like in a specific size. And I visualize that little inner being on each of the coming out from each of the cells, like a little funny person, or a funny person, but a little person. But this time they were so many more, and so many more of the little inner beings as well.
Wow.
And also like more layers in the different organs. Like I usually see my heart as just a thing, like one object. That's the heart. But this time I could really see like so many different cells inside my heart.
Ooh.
I mean, it's also put together by I don't know how many cells, but there are many.
Yeah.
And each organ is like that. I just haven't seen it like that before. I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of a new layer for me. So I found myself like with a big grin on my face through the whole meditation, I think.
Nice to return to who you really are.
Exactly. And this goes so well together with an experience I have had recently, because there's so many things going on right now, and I have felt like I have felt imbalanced in my body, like really out of balance, and I've felt like I it hasn't just been a feeling; it's been a physical thing that I just fall, and I have to,
Wow.
grab something to not really fall. And then at some point, a couple of weeks ago, I just had this realization: you are too much in your head. Because the feeling is that my head is too big and too heavy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it does, if you would have a bottle of something, if you put a bottle the wrong way, you have the heavy part in the top, it will fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some bottles with liquids, shampoo or stuff are imbalanced, and they have a kind of a heavy top.
Yeah.
And when they run out, the top is too heavy because there is too little shampoo left or whatever it is, and then they fall, kind
Yeah.
of. And that's the feeling that I've had. And then I was like, you're too much in your head. And I realized, yes, I'm too much in my head. It's like huge with all these thoughts and stuff that's going on in my head. So I just kind of emptied my head, like I had the feeling of emptying my head. And then I've kind of added the feeling that I, I don't know how to say it in English, but ground myself or earth myself or
Yeah. Ground.
ground myself. Like a feeling of energy just going along my spine and all the way down into the earth. And that helps so much because I don't trip anymore. I don't fall anymore.
Oh, wow.
And this was kind of an addition to that process, really.
Wow.
Because that's me. And
Wow, that's amazing.
I
What
need,
I've never heard that said like that before. Because as you said, it's certainly when you lose balance, there's a discombobulation, there's a confusion in the energy, as it were. Because I've had that as well. Suzanne and I were actually talking about that yesterday. Because she had one dizzy spell at the beginning, right after the surgery, and
right.
it's that sort of being in two places at once, kind of, and not being able to get your mental balance because the brain is too active. Yeah, but I've never had that visceral visual idea of the head being too big, but it just feels so perfect. Like, what a great
Yeah, it
description
helped
of
me
it.
a lot to just ground myself that way, just feel and as soon as I lose it, because sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm up there again, and then I notice because I'm imbalanced, and then as soon as I get that feeling back and do the grounding again, I don't fall.
Isn't that interesting? So the grounding, and that explains why grounding kept coming out of my mouth. I kept thinking I keep going back to grounding, like because it was a feeling the energy received, going through the body, but then the grounding kept coming back. So I was clearly picking up your
Yeah,
energy. Your
yeah, wow, that's true.
Well, as the Pleiadians like to say, Wendy Kennedy channels the 9D Pleiadians. They say there's only two things you need to have that easy ascension process. One is to be present in your heart. Just think of something that makes you smile to do that, and then ground in the body.
Mm,
And we're
yeah,
often doing either neither of them or just one, and you need both. And so, to your point, and that was a big thing has come through in channeling sessions in the past for me. To say, yeah, you're doing all this other stuff, but you're not grounding the rest of you in the earth. You're not completing the circuit, and so like I tend to be top heavy, and that's made a big difference for me as well.
yeah.
Beautiful. How powerful. Thanks for sharing that, Adelie. And then I saw Chrissy shared something here. She says, I had an amazing experience of my grandpa who is still with us, coming to me as well as my nonverbal son. Oh, nice. You both had beautiful messages to help guide me. Mason's message to me was ebony and flow. That's probably ease and flow. Oh, ebony. Okay, he said ebony will soon come into my life, transform it in profound ways. Oh, I'd love to know more about what that ends up being. Ebony will come into my life and transform it. Huh. That's something exciting to look forward to, Chrissy. Thank you so much for sharing that. Huh. It's so wonderful when we get messages like that. Hazel, it looks like your video is kind of breaking up there. I'm gonna invite you to turn off the video so they get a better signal. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Oh, I'll try and turn the video off. Oh God.
Here, I got it.
Um,
Gotcha.
God. Okay, so you can hear me?
Yep.
Oh, bollocks. Oh, hello?
Yep, you're here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. So I had a similar experience to Annalie just now because I'm diagnosed with ADHD, so my mind does not stop at all. And oh sorry, I'm a bit sniffy because I've got a flu. But during that meditation, when you were talking about the cells, something happened that has never actually happened before, and my mind just completely quietened down. And I've never experienced that at all. And it was the strangest, most it's very hard to describe because because ironically describing it means words and I didn't have any words going through it, which is unusual. But yeah, something definitely shifted. And another thing, I got my autism diagnosis a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was going to make me feel better. And instead, it's made me feel like a gazillion times worse because I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, nothing's ever going to change now, is it? And I've been feeling like really sorry for myself. And I'm thinking, God, I'm such a freak. And I can't communicate with humans. I can't understand them. Ah. But then during that meditation, instead of me trying, and this is what happened during that meditation, instead of me thinking, oh, because I kind of go between, oh, fuck everyone, they can all sod off, because obviously that's true, through a point of like pain and void and everything. So I go from fuck everyone to like, oh, why can't I understand humans? Why can't I have any friends? But then during that meditation just now, this has never happened before either. I started thinking about that. I've made up my mind, done with humans, I've had enough. I'm gonna just stick with trees or something. But then during that meditation, for the first time ever, I found myself thinking, not about my need to communicate with humans to fill a void that I needed for me. And I've never seen that before. I actually thought, no. And I don't know where it came from. Obviously, it came from the meditation. Sorry, I'm a bimbling mess. But it was like I actually wanted to connect with humans, to connect to them, not on my needs. It was kind of like, oh, yeah, just wanting to connect with them, as in they are like these separate entities out of me, that for the first time it's almost like it wasn't about me. It was, am I making any sense?
Yes, you're making a ton of sense. You moved out of your human brain, which has been trained to have fear and doubt and self-hate and all that stuff that we all
Yeah.
carry, and you let that part go for the first time, Hazel. The ADHD is just a diagnosis, just an observation of someone else who thinks you should be different than you are. And you seem to be letting go of those external opinions of who you really are. That's one of the reasons that I believe the autistic community is growing so rapidly, is we need to be shown that you're perfect as you are. You're here to teach us how to connect and not listen to all that noise. And you just accomplished it. I just wanted to acknowledge you and congratulate you for that. Does that resonate at all?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. I mean, if it wasn't for you in this group, I'd still be walking around kicking things. So, yes. Yes,
Yay!
and
I
then
want to
having
see that too.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, sorry, I'm still blown away because, when I come on this group and we have the meditations and then everybody's talking about their experiences, it's like, oh my God, like every time since this group started, I'm thinking, oh, I resonate with that person. Oh, that sounds similar to me. And it feels like a place that I can connect with others. And now to be able to get out of my head long enough to to actually want to understand others, not for my own sake. Yeah, that's mind blowing. And yeah, it would not have happened without this group. So I am so grateful. I could start crying in a minute, but thank you all so much.
We appreciate having you here, Hazel. You're an example of exactly why we formed this group. Why I created this specific Zoom group was for that safe community, so that we could all step into our vulnerable selves and become more the part that was really under there that's been suppressed by what we've learned, the self, for me, self-hatred, the unworthiness, that nobody listens to me, I've got nothing to offer. All that is still coming up for me at times. So you're more on the leading edge than I am. And I think you're going to make a profound difference to a lot of people as you keep doing this work, Hazel. I just wanted to thank you for being here, being such a shining example of what we do, why we are here. Thank you for sharing all that, and congratulations. You can be proud of yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you. Just one more thing.
Sure.
I am very much aware that I do swear all the time, and I'm
Yay,
trying to stop.
good. Stop that. Stop doubting yourself. I want to hear you swear all the time. I want to see you kick things. I want to see you express yourself.
I keep wanting to say, tell us how you really feel, Hazel.
No, you definitely don't want to be seeing that. It'd be savage. All right, but thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Hazel. That's what it's about there, boys and girls. That's exactly what it's about. It's the breakthroughs. This is why I am so passionate about what I do. It's because I'm on the same journey of getting out of my own way and getting out from under the stories that still sometimes are dominating at times. I still have moments where I can go for days, not as much anymore, but even the last few months where the next story of childhood, whatever negativity shows up, and I got to do something with it. Because the higher you ascend, this is an interesting thing about this vibrational ascension work, as we are slowly bringing our vibration back up to our own inner being, source level consciousness. The stuff we haven't dealt with yet now gets louder. And it's because it's ready to be released. It wants to entrain back up to the new frequencies we've achieved, which, yay, so Abraham calls that all hell breaking loose. You do the vibrational work, you start to ascend, you start to see bigger picture, you higher on the mountain, things are working out, and then boom, something comes along. It's like, where did that come from? I thought I was doing great. Life, now life sucks again. It's like, no, it's just you're more sensitive to that stuff now. And so when you fall, you're higher on the ladder. So you're falling farther. It hurts. It's the same low vibrational thought. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve whatever. But you're more sensitive as you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to put up with negative stuff. So when you fall, it's just like, okay, there's another thing I got to work through. And so you face it head on, get help if you need it. I've had tons of help along the way. So you can step into it, feel it, allow the fear, the anxiety, the sadness, whatever to come through. And in a minute or two, even, it can be gone. And then that story's gone. Now you're at a little bit higher level. And so that's the work as it goes on and on. So nothing's ever going wrong. We're always in a perfect place. There's my lovely wife enjoying her. She's got a healing machine on her right leg that yes, circulates coolness and compresses the calves and so forth to prevent blood clots. So she's not really mobile at the moment.
No, I'm not looking too swift, but hey, whatever. We can be real here. And I just wanted to thank Annalie for bringing up how heavy your head felt. Like after 24 hours, this numbing agent they put in your knee just so you can get home on an outpatient thing wears off. And now I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning after being in one position in this lazy boy. And I thought, okay, I'll get up, which I had been doing fine, and go to the bathroom. And I felt so dizzy. My head felt so heavy. I thought I was going to fall to the floor. And I thought, no, I can do this. I can do this, of course, being stubborn. But I slowly got up and got into the bathroom. And then I thought, no, I can reach out to Kevin. So it's like, that's your ego saying, oh, I can handle this all by myself. And so I texted him, and then I didn't know if he'd hear because it was 5:30 in the morning. So then I called him. He's upstairs. I'm down. on the phone, and he's luckily awake, so he comes down. But I was so out of balance, and in hindsight, listening just today, it was because after my first surgery last year, I was in so much pain for so long that feeling of pain threw me right back into the old story, like, oh my God, this is going to go on forever. I'm the same old suffering soul victim thingy. And then I had the awareness, like, no, that's just the whole story. This is a whole new experience. I have a great doctor. I have this wonderful machine that's keeping everything is going really well. I mean, totally. I mean, I could even walk without a walker and a cane, even though it's painful. I've been walking in pain for a year. Like, this is nothing. And I think, oh, thank you. Thank you for.
Did you have another surgery, Susanne?
I did on Tuesday. I had a second surgery on the same knee. I have a nice new implant from last year, but the kneecap, that surgeon did nothing with the kneecap, so it was arthritic and bumpy, and the bone was rubbing on this nice new implant. So every single time I exercise, walked, and I was such a good doobie doing all my exercises, it get inflamed because it's rubbing, and so I'd just be in pain, like in pain all the time. And so when I said to Kevin, of course, when the numbing agent was still in, this is a miracle. I can walk. This is nothing. This is what I've been going through all year. And then when the pain came back, all of a sudden I thought, oh no, I got scared. It was the fear. The fear always makes us off balance, doesn't it? And that heavy weight of fear really, it just threw me for a loop. And now I'm good. I mean, I'm still in pain, but it's nothing. I have a whole new perspective again, just reminding myself I'm a whole new me. I learned so much through the whole past year about myself and everything. And it's a whole new experience. Nothing ever stays the same. And I'm making this one be truly rewarding, a rewarding experience instead of something to be fearful of. Anyway, I've enjoyed listening to all of you, and I wasn't going to come on. And then I thought, hello, go ahead and come on.
I'm so glad you did.
All righty.
Quite a journey.
Yes, it has been. I'm just thankful for you.
Likewise.
This thing, and this is another wonderful thing. I mean, you never know when you go through the most difficult thing how much closer, if you're in a relationship with someone, and you're both growing together, you can get even closer. Like, I never even thought I could feel closer to Kevin until, once again, just then when he came down to help me, I thought, oh, I'm so appreciative of not having to do this alone. And even if I was alone, I wouldn't really be alone because I have my inner being. It always speaks to me. It does remind me all as well. And I have other lovely souls who would be here physically to help me. But anyways, I'm just in a nice appreciative state.
Yeah, hold on to that.
Yeah, I'm going.
That's one of the things that did bring, I think, Suzanne and I together vibrationally. Is, every relationship is reflective. Everything in our lives is reflective of the vibration, and I think relationships help people to heal. And we've both been sort of loners in the sense of always having to do things ourselves. So it's hard for either of us to ask for help. We have a really good relationship, and there's a lot of counterpart that works well. And then there's those things which tend to get in the way. And it's been for both of us, not even this, but the other things that have happened. I've had my own physical challenges and other things. Just using the stuff that we've learned to teach, it's easier to teach than do it. But now bringing it home in the environment, in the experiences here to experience it, life does keep getting better. Anyways, Marlene, and then I think we'll wrap up after your comment because we're past time here.
Yeah, I was seeing that as well.
No, it's okay. We don't care about time here. It's always now.
Okay. So, yeah, just quickly what you said about hell breaks loose. Yeah, definitely. It's like I had the experience last year of shame and guilt all around. It was like, I couldn't deny it. I couldn't do as if nothing is really going on. It just blew, like it just was in my face all the time, as in things that didn't make sense anyway. But it was just, look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and that's so interesting because now in the second meditation, I had my arms like open down, like just hanging down. And at some point, I felt like I had the hands of my girls in my hands, like when they were small, not because they're grown up now, but they were small. I was like, and then I felt like they were looking at me, like with their faces. Um, yeah, I don't know how old, maybe 3, 4, 5-ish, something like that. Like that was the feeling of it, and just really trustful and loving and connected. And it was actually quite a release for me because I have a lot of shame and guilt about that. Like I should have done better or whatever. And so that was really wonderful to experience and to realize, wow, it was really strong. I could feel they were, it was their presence really of that time. It was, yeah, amazing. And could tell them how much I love them, and it was like, yeah, we know. It's all good. Yeah, that was really amazing. Thank you.
Sounded a bit like Hazel's stepping into another level of your own allowance, connection.
Yeah.
Safe space that all of you guys create is what seems to help allow us to do this. To me, it's funny. I had an awareness a few months ago because I'm an intuitive coach, quote unquote, whatever the hell that means. I do a bunch of different things, and yeah, I just put a label out there because I got nothing else to. People like a label, so I put a label out there, but it doesn't seem to. I've struggled with that. Even my own coaching clients, those who go into channeling and stuff, have the same thing. Like, well, I do this, but I do that, and I do that. What do I call myself? And I've always told them, well, you just call yourself, Sue or Joe, or it doesn't. The label is irrelevant because the vibration matters. And yet, I'm struggling with the same thing. And I had somebody who friended me on Facebook somewhere around here. I've never met the person. It was just one conversation. She says, "I'm really intrigued about what you do, Kevin. I've looked at your profile. Like this intuitive stuff. What do you do?" And I had that a moment of presence where I just streamed through stuff I've done recently, and it's like all over the map. Like, well, but at the core, there was a core Kevin in there, and the core Kevin is about creating safe space because I didn't have that as a child, and when I can create that, and then I feel safe, and then the client feels safe, and then I'm opened up to source what they're calling for but aren't able to allow, and it comes through my words. And the more that I just let go of my brain's thinking of what I need to do or what I have to say or what they got, but I let go of all that and just start talking. And I realized that all these different things that I've done all have that as the foundational piece. And it's really opened me up to just, it doesn't matter who I am or what I'm doing, nothing's going wrong. I just being Kevin, and that's good enough. The people who will want to find me will find me. And I think in the first meditation, that picture of all these people was for me, showing me that you're doing a good job, Kevin. Just keep getting back into that state and allowing those people to come to me, or whoever wants to benefit or could benefit from the things that I do specifically. No effort necessary. And I'm not even sure why I just shared that with you, but there was something that just felt like you're calling, like we're connected or something in that moment. So I think you're allowing yourself to go into the deeper part of Marlene now. Maybe the deeper part of her is feeling safe enough to express in a more open way. Or really, we're all on that journey. But people like you, your energy is really light right now. Like, look at the picture behind you. Yeah, you're right in the middle of it. Yeah, the glow is unmistakable. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to end the call, guys. We could talk all day. I certainly could. but we wouldn't have anything to talk about next time. So I want to honor all you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As you said at the beginning, small groups sometimes have the most focused energy, and this really felt good today. I felt like you guys helped me to move some energy. So thanks all for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks, as always, same time, same station. In the meantime, enjoy the now moment. Love you guys so much. Take care. Bye for now.
Love you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.